If you ever come to Florence, Italy, I highly suggest you to visit this basilica that you can see in my painting. It's called the Santa Maria del Fiore, Saint Mary of the Flower. The flower is the the original symbol of Florence, and it's actually a lily. So I'm just painting this very freely. This is the view from below of this beautiful basilica. And what we are looking at is the dome of the basilica, which was designed and planned and executed by a very intelligent and smart architect called Filippo Brunelleschi. And this watercolor is trying to portray the dome that he actually created. He invented the dome out of nothing. And it has a very interesting structure, actually. And I wanted to emphasize this because it has been built with no scaffolding, which is quite something, considering that Brunelleschi, won the 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 whole thing about the dome. He was allowed to build it in only in 1420. So we're talking at the beginning of the Renaissance, and he kept most of his plans secret because he didn't want anybody to steal them and then to reuse them, and rendering his work not that valuable. So he was a pretty secretive man, and he built this without scaffolding. He also had a plan, like how do you build something like this, of this proportion, without scaffolding? Well, he invented a structure which is a double dome, which then architects took up and basically redid in other structures. If you know the Capitol in Washington, D.C., that's also a double dome. So it's one dome inside the other one, and they both they hold each other up, and there is a gap in between the two, which renders the whole thing extremely strong, because in between the gaps there are structures. They're called a herringbone, and you can literally see that when you go up to the dome. You can go up there, you can visit the little lanterna on top, the lantern, and you can see how this was all built. And basically the bricks are going one way and then the other way, so the whole structure is holding up by itself. I'm trying to paint this as nicely as possible, but it's difficult to render it because it's a really big structure. The house on the right side, that is, I wanted to put it there because it actually encompasses Florence. Everywhere you go, the streets are pretty narrow, and if you look up, you can see very important structures like this one. So it's very nice to just look up and see something magnificent like this. The other thing that I wanted to show here is that no matter what time of the day you look at this cupola and the Duomo, there is always going to be a part of it that is in shadow and a part of it that's in light. And I don't know if this has been done by design or if it's an accident, but basically the structure is shaped so that you always see at least two sides. And on the top there's a lanterna, the lantern, which is a very interesting structure, and you can go all the way up there and you can visit and you can see the entire city of Florence from up there. And I'm shading this because I want to show how beautiful this is in the sun, and so you have an idea of how it is. And you can subscribe and like the video if you'd like to, and that always helps. Thank you for watching.